about, the power of taking a break, right? And like how much that can really benefit you. So, here's the thing, it's really interesting. So I was with my buddy, Brandon, and we were working in the same place, and we would just go on walks, usually a couple times a day, and we'd be able to chat with each other, which was fun. But also even just like by yourself too, it allows you to go out and to like really think about things, and see what's going on, take a break from what you're doing, and I remember we had some people that were kind of complaining about, people going on these long walks or things like that. And it wasn't that long, it was like 15 minutes usually. But like, it's interesting because my buddy was saying, he's like, we got talking about this, probably on a walk, right? But he was saying that when he was dealing with a problem, right? Something that he couldn't really figure out, that a lot of times it was actually on a walk when he figured it out, right? And you're like, wait, what? And so it's just really interesting when we let our brains take a break, right? Our brains are like a super powerful computer, right? And they're doing all these things. Sometimes, especially in today's day with so much media, social media and everything like that, sometimes it can get a little bit overloaded, right? And your brain can't really focus on the thing that it needs to. And sometimes it just needs some time, to be able to work on it while you're not worried about it. And so then you go on this walk, and then you come back and you're like, wow, oh, that's the thing. That's what I need to do. You come back and then you can solve that problem. Like you figured out the thing that you were struggling with. And you think about it, it's like, so was it worth the time? Was it worth the time to go do that? Well, probably, right? Because you figured out the issue. Maybe you could have sat there for, another hour and still didn't figure out what the problem was. You couldn't figure out how to get past that, right? And so that's one benefit of taking walks, or of, taking breaks and letting your mind just relax and kind of work on the problems itself, right? But there's a huge thing in your body as well, that when you allow it to recover and to be able to get back that energy, then you have that much more energy to do something else. And so I was at an event with Brendan Burchard, and so he talked about, what he does is he basically works for 50 minutes and then he has a 10-minute break. And some people are like, what? Like, how can you do that? There's no way, like, that's not going to be as productive. But he's way more productive when he does that, because he takes the 50 minutes to do the work. Obviously, he's very focused on it. But then he's got the 10 minutes to do different things, like go walk around, to get some water, to do some breathing exercises, to get more oxygen in your body, which can be really, really helpful. And the way that he liked to talk about it is that it's like a pit stop. So, if you look at NASCAR, you've got a pit stop that you have to stop every so often, right? You got to change the oil, you got to change the tires, or else things are going to break down. And if you know Lightning McQueen, with 5 kids, I definitely know that movie. But it's Lightning McQueen's like, no, I'm not going to change the tires. And he's like, that's one of his like secrets, is he doesn't change his tires, right? But in Piston Cup, the last lap, he ends up blowing his tires, right? And then he ends up tying, you kind of know all the story, but it's really important to take those breaks and to continue to do that, so that you can continue to stay, well-oiled, continue to have that energy so that you can go forward and do that. And so that's something I love to do, throughout the day. And it's really helpful, kind of like I mentioned, sometimes if you're working on a hard problem, it can be helpful to have a break, let your brain think about that, come up with some solutions, and come back and be like, oh, well, maybe that's what we should do, right? Sometimes that can be really helpful. But also just to give yourself more energy, right? We really generate energy. It's not something that like, we need like food and water and things like that. But there's this, there's so much more to energy, and taking breaks and allowing yourself to continue to have more and more energy is really, really powerful. And so, I just wanted to leave that with you today, and hope that it really helps you, figure out. It's really good. It's good to take breaks, and it really allows you to be more productive.